Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You already know it's your boy Professor Pippin back in this bitch on iTrader Agent trying to get active, trying to get laid. Yes, it is that time. It is that time. Coming back at you with another weekend analysis. Oh man, price action was rough on us last week. Rough on us. Not really seeing a whole bunch of movement as far as price action breaking out of these higher time frame ranges. And based off of the way that I trade, my psychology and theories, everything are built up based off of ranges. And when we don't get a lot of movement within price action, I don't be trying to move on them charts. I just sit back and watch and just see what we're gonna happen. Because I took a couple trades, had a couple wins, I had a couple losses too. Ooh, but yeah, didn't really do a compare and contrast because it wasn't nothing to compare and contrast. For the most part, shit didn't move. I didn't take a lot of trades, and that was what it was. So starting off this week, looking at AU again. AU has been tricky as hell for the last few whatevers. We were big bullish, now we're big bearish. We're breaking past that 50% mark. Right here, the range that I'm really paying attention to right now as far as daily time frame. If we want to zoom out and say, okay, yeah, price action has been giving us the wop for the last few whatevers. We were bearish back up in here, making lower lows and lower highs. We came down here, tapped into something looking left, and gave a big ass expansion up to the top side, breaking this last lower high on the daily time frame. Since then, we somewhat downtrending until we came back in here, touching to imbalance level, looking left over here, and then kind of broke structure here as far as high, low, lower, low, breaker structure right back here, and started back to retrace. So when you open that we can open the chart back up and just bring the analysis on. Right now, like I said, daily range identifying from the low to the high and somewhat doing a retracement phase right over here. So for me, daily time frame is bullish. 4 hour currently retracing is bearish. As we bump down to that 4H time frame, we can see structural breaks looking left. All this higher high, higher low type of price action right over here is creating a bullish structure. Price action pushing to the top side as we come to the top and create and run into that what we call now daily resistance right up here at the top identified in the gray, we see price action start to come back down. And now at this point, we're making lower lows and lower highs, breaking structure looking left. And now the structure on the 4 hour time frame is now pushing to the downside. So for me, the 4 hourly range from the most previous lower high to the most previous lower lows within here. And right here is the price action that we are focused in on as we try to trade on a new week 4 hour time frame looking bursh. So as we come into, let's go back to the 4 hour time frame real quick, kind of identify some things and blink that chart real quick. As we're looking at this structure here with the high to the low, pretty much lower high area, lower low, lower high, lower low. As price action is pulling back, retracing right up in here, what we can see is an imbalance that price action has just filled. You can kind of see it better on the daily time frame. So what I'm calling an imbalance is price action big bullish here, rejection wick closed as a rejection candle, big impulsive candle to the downside, leaving nothing but bearish price action right up in here. The last really bullish whatever price action on this daily time frame chart here is from right up in here at the bottom of this wick. So we get price action to retrace back into that wick, and we go down to the 4 hour time frame. We bring the analysis back. We see that imbalance being filled as far as all that just straight bearish price action. Price action has come back into what that bullish wick was on a daily time frame. So right here, we just got that 4 hour imbalance identified. We got it being filled right over here with the market or with price action evening out the market as far as bulls and bears within the market imbalance is already filled. Next move should be our trend. So as I'm looking at this and I'm saying, okay, price action is big bearish on the 4 hour time frame, but on the daily, if we get 4 hour structural breaks to the top side, then we would be potentially going back in alignment with the daily trend as is bullish, identified right up here. Came up in here, filled the imbalance. So now we're waiting to see what type of reaction we get from current price action within the market. As we come down to that hourly time frame, that imbalance identified there, you see big bearishness all the way down, come back and fill right up here. Um, Now, what I've got identified here, we got a 4 hour range in the background, but as we zoom into more intraday time price action on that 1 hour time frame, we have that 1 hour range from this low into this high. So what I'm looking for to see is when we open up the week next week, are we going to continue big bearish like a 4 hour time frame is suggesting, or are we going to start to manipulate within these ranges on the lower time frames to try to say or try to see if price action wants to roll over and go back bullish? So the first thing I really want to find out, or I really want to see, is how does price action come back down? Do we just come back and swallow all this big bullish price action that was just created and just create one big ass candle to the downside, or do we come back corrective? Corrective is what I really want to see, creating lower lows, lower highs within this 1 hourly range, back into this somewhat imbalance right down here. Same thing we kind of identify on a daily time frame, big bearish candles. We got big bullish activity here. Last really bearish activity was right down here. I want to see that corrective price action back into that level to potentially start to take buys, or try to see if I can set up some buys to for two reasons: to get a retracement into this 4 hourly level. So if you got the high, you got the low. Next thing you should be looking for is a lower high to create the next lower low. Or if we're going to try and resume back within that daily time frame structure of saying, okay, now we want to go back bullish. We've retraced as far as we want to retrace on a 4 hour time frame. We've came down, we found our ultimate support, and now as we tap into this imbalance, we want to see, do we get the gas to close above this area right here, lower high on the 4 hour time frame, and then see what price action really wants to do as far as if we're going to resume back within that daily trend of price action being bullish. So a couple different scenarios I want to see. Like I said, price action hasn't really been moving much. Um, let's see. I want to show you the range from last week's price action from the 25th, right up here. So, I mean, looking at this, we opened up here last week's weekly open. Price action went bullish and immediately rolled over to the downside, creating that 4 hour range, which was about 123 pips. 123 pips is not really a lot of pippage when you think in terms of weekly chart movement. So 123 pips. Normally on some charts you see 123 pips on a 15-minute chart, or on a 1 hour chart, but this is on a 4 hour time frame, which really suggested to me that price action really ain't giving out no gas right now on AU. I like AU because it gives me proper setups during the Asian session. So I like to hop in during the Asian. If I can catch me a runner into the London and get some big baggage, I'll take it. But if I'm having to pip and dip and get up out of that thing, then that's what it'll be. So coming into the market this week, what I'm looking to see is how price action retraces back into this imbalance. What I kind of got outlined here is price action is already bearish on the 4 hour time frame. So we are making lower lows and lower highs. This could be enough of a pullback before this 4 hourly range. For me to consider enough of a pullback, I like to see it pull back deep into where price action shifted from bullish to bearishness, supply and demand, some people identify it as, but I identified it that way too. But I like to see it pull back a little bit deeper before resuming back that bearish trend that's created on the 4 hourly time frame. But right now, we are kind of stuck in the middle of the range, so that 4 hour range and that hourly range. Go back to the 4 hourly time frame, we can kind of identify that exhaustion candle right up in here. Price action pushing up, no wick on the top, so immediately get that bearish print behind it, really confirming that exhaustion candle there. A lot of this stuff I'm just pointing out and identifying that I, noticed as I was marking up this chart. But if price action does want to resume back bearish and continue to go bearish, what I'm looking for ultimately on a higher time frame basis is to see how we react once we get back into this imbalance we got identified on the daily time frame, to see if it goes back bullish from there. If not, outside of that, there isn't anything else down here as far as a demand level that I'm looking for price action to retest on a higher time frame scale, making higher highs and lower lows back into that area, resume back bullish potentially from there. If we come down here and blow through this imbalance, the only thing that's for me that's potentially could stop price is just this supportive area within the market that has pushed price action bullish. As we look all the way across the screen, we see price action likes to cut up in that area and struggle as far as which way it really wants to go, bullish or bear. So yeah, that's pretty much what we got identified there. So right now it will be a sit back and wait type of deal on AU for me, simply because we are really in the middle of the range when it comes to that 4 hour time frame. The hourly is somewhat identifying bullish as we create higher highs and higher lows back up in here. So yeah, I definitely want to see what the market has to give out before hopping into any setups this week. Just because, like I said, when I started, we ain't really been pushing out no pips for real on AU. So some nice little scalping opportunities. I did catch this short right here last week. Also tried to take continuation shorts from right up in here last week and got smoked. As you can see, price action pull back deeper and deeper. Ultimately, should have been expecting this retracement, but you know, I was, looking at how price action played out here, came and chopped and continued to fall, came and chopped and continued to fall. Didn't really give any real deep retracement. So I felt like during last week that this little consolidation potentially could have let price action leak down into this imbalance field that I have marked up now, and I had it marked up that way last week as well. So overall, stuck in the middle of the range on AU, potentially waiting to see how price action opens up. Um, at the start of the week. Pushing over to UK. UK had been real funky for me. I did try to, I think I tried to hop in on some shorts or some longs on UK last week and got burnt up. Um, but outside of that, yeah, same type of psychology scenario from here, or is like on AU on here. The start of the move right up in here. Daily resistance all the way down to that daily support. So that daily range is from the high to the low. And right now is what we can see as we bump down to that 4-hour time frame is price action just created a breaker structure last week. Right here, we are lower lows and lower highs. Let me get this 25th marked up first, and then I can move up 4-hour time frame. That's why. Weekly open. All right. Hold up. Wrong button. 25th is correct. Where is it? Right there. Weekly open. So what I'm looking at here is price action pushing highs, lows. I'm at lower lows and lower highs, lower lows and lower highs, lower low. If I thought we were going to continue this lower low, lower high formation, lower low, lower low, lower high structure, I would have wanted to see price action remain below this high and then roll over and continue to give you a new lower low. It didn't give you that; it gave you a higher high. So that's why we're classifying this as a breaker structure. So now the range on the 4-hourly time frame is from this low all the way back up into this high. Don't really have the 4-hourly low identified because it's in the same exact spot as the daily time frame low. So um, looking at this, what I want to see is if we do pull back and open up the week bearish, how far do we come down? And then if we do ultimately come our way back down into daily support, do we happen to break this low? Do we run into demand and flip back bullish, or do we break the low? If we break the low, then I'm looking for shorts. If we don't break the low, then I'm looking for buys. Um, that daily range, 4-hour break, the looking for bullish confirmations, need a retracement that doesn't break higher time frame structure to the downside. So like I was saying, let me see, where would that like price action to come back into? This price action here is ugly as far as the way I like to identify. So I don't really see too much. I do see a little imbalance there, but by the time price action came all the way down there, I probably would have been shortened to down in there. So it's like, ultimately, looking at it from the hourly time frame, as price action is making higher highs and higher lows back in over here, we got a high here with a pretty much a higher low there, somewhat of a higher high, higher low, higher high, kind of a breaker structure right here. So because we're no longer making higher highs and higher lows, this was the previous higher low, gave you the higher high. We broke that structure, came back and pulled back, did not break the high, and then gave you a new low. So ultimately, starting off the week looking for two things. Do we come out and just flush bearish to where we potentially could be looking for the retracement action, where the price action get the funnel with them keys, then take shorts again? Or what was the second scenario? Did we pull back deeper and touch back into imbalance area right back up in here, get the funnel with them keys, roll back deeper? Or do we just come out and push bullish? So kind of in the middle of the range on UCAT as well. Couple different scenarios we would like for price action to set up for us to kind of give us the guidance and give us the direction as far as where price action wants to go. Otherwise, until we break, below support here or push back, stall out somewhere right up in here and then try to roll over, then probably gonna be just a waiting game on UCAT. UCAT has not been given, well, it's been giving out the gas. It just ain't been playing in my favor. I haven't been able to catch the gas. So don't be sitting back and waiting. UCAT is not my main squeeze in the first place. So I just want to see, I want to identify it and see how my chart analysis ends up lining up with actual price action. So daily's bearish, 4 hours just had a bullish breaking structure. We're waiting for confirmations as far as price action coming back down, not breaking structure, looking left, and then see if we can take buys. 1 hour is already bearish, so we could look for an imbalance field to potentially roll back over on 15 and continue to take some more shorts. Ultimately, I'm expecting price action to come open bearish and then roll over back bullish because of this breaking structure right over here. But outside of that, I ain't really seeing too much of anything for certain right now on UCAT. Clicking over to GU. GU. Let's see what we got right here. So on GU, we are identifying bullish on the daily from swing points, from swing point standpoint. We're looking at from higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. You can identify your structures how you want, but this is how I identify mine. Daily low to the daily high. That is the range we're currently focusing and paying attention to. As we bump down to the 4H, we can see price action is somewhat creating bearish structure with lower lows and lower highs. Right backing up in here. And then we come down to most recent price action within this hourly range from the lower high to the lower low. So we have already done a retracement phase, potentially as far as I would like for price action to pull back to for this 1 hour structure. So what I want to see here is, do we pull back and start breaking structure to the downside, or do we continue to go bullish? The daily is bullish, the 4 hour is bullish, and 1 hour is bearish. So there is a good possibility that we could just roll over and get back up out of there to the top side. If that is the case, then we could take some breakout buys from like somewhere right up here, buy some up there. And then if we stall out and continue want to go back deeper within this 4 hour support slash demand type area, we could see some breakout shorts from right down here. But within this 1 hour range, you be pipping dip city, simply because you don't really have a real higher time frame basis as far as which way the trend wants to push price action. So yeah, pretty much in the range on all these freaking charts so far. So it's definitely, you definitely gonna have to have some patience at the start of next week because you could get cooked. It looked like price action wants to go bullish. We could get some retracements to start the week, come back into something right up in here as far as demand slash support type area, and then go back bullish, or it could just continue to flush and go bullish. If we get price action to come up and break structure here, then we'll be waiting for that retracement to come back down, see where it likes to build that support, and then potentially take buys to retest this daily high right up in here. If we come down and just straight flush bearish, close below here, I would look for some type of retracement, see price action get the fumbling with them keys, and then come back down to potentially retest deeper within this 4 hour support right down here. So yeah, like I said, in the middle of the range, you come up with all type of possibilities on the weekend and say what price action potentially is going to do, but it ain't until price action actually opens up and give you the gas and show you where it wants to go that you can have some profitable trades. So definitely sit back, grab some popcorn, and just wait and let price action show you where it wants to go. Clicking over to UJ. UJ and GJ are not following any of the rules that I like as far as how to identify structure. Um, when you look at here's UJ. When you look at UJ from a higher time frame, weekly, monthly, time frames like that, for some reason, I think we're still stuck within this range as far as price action breaking structure here on the weekly time frame. Um, Coming down, creating from this high to this low. I think this is the range that we should be paying attention to. That's not the range I am paying attention to, but I think it is the range we should be paying attention to as far as the weekly time frame. Looking at this move here as a retracement move to potentially take the market lower. Now we're gonna see. What is it? July, August, September, October. October hit fourth quarter, open up. We're gonna see if price action continued to break that high or if it did start to come back down. Make sure you tell everybody you heard it here first. I identified it. Don't know if I'll be able to trade off of it because the weekly is pretty much a big ass range, but um, with that being said, I kind of identified stating that this bearish trend here is now over, seeing as how you got the breaking structure right over here. price action pushing bullish. This is the retracement, and now we're continuing to go bullish. So if that is in fact to be correct, this is my daily low. We haven't really had a big enough retracement on this daily time frame for me to identify that ultimate daily high slash resistance area. So it's just left open. Right now, we got the daily pushing bullish, 4 hour pushing bullish, 1 hour pushing bullish. What we got noted over here, if price action break this low, could start to see week, could start the week off, the week off bearishly retracing. That looks dumb as hell. On a 4 hour time frame, as we look at price action coming from this daily low, the support area, we're just tracking price as far as higher highs and higher lows. And what we get is price push up here, higher high, higher low, because we were breaking structures right over here on the 1 hour time frame. And then we impose to the top side. One thing I forgot to note while we were on the weekly time frame, there is a little imbalance fill here that needs to happen. And price action has not filled that imbalance yet. It looked like it tapped, but it did not tap into it. So when we get that tap into that imbalance field, we could see big bearish activity coming from that level. So that's what I'm saying. We got to be prepared. If this area up here down to this area down here is in fact the range we should be paying to as far as which way price action is really wanting to push. So this could be the push with the pullback for a new push to the downside on the higher time frame. So that will be something I will be looking out for on UJ long term. But as in right now, we're gonna bump down to that hourly. We got that 4 hourly support right there identified. We haven't get rid of this. We haven't really broken any structures on the hourly time frame to truly identify that 4 hour resistance slash supply area within the market. So we just only got the support area. So from the higher low to we haven't created that new higher high in my eyes just yet. And then when you go down and you try to identify or you pay attention to that hourly range within that the hourly price action within that 4 hourly range, right up in here is where I kind of have identified my most recently significant higher low area. Seeing as how when higher high, higher low that thing, we got the breaks of structure looking over in here. We pull back here, you don't really get any real breaks of structure with this price action pushing up into here. So like I said, I ain't really enjoying identifying UJ and GJ in the last few weeks. And based off of, my overall thought process as I finished identifying this, one of the things I came up with was because of how big the ranges are, would follow the 15-minute until price action reaches a higher time frame structure, meaning we push into that imbalance, we come back to some supportive area right down here. Didn't tap into the daily slash weekly imbalance, could retrace to grab liquidity, meaning price action could open up the week bearish, grab some liquidity and resume back into that area and then roll over big bears to the downside. Yeah, it's a lot of different scenarios that I'm pretty much seeing as far as where I think UJ and or GJ is going. So for the most part, I'll be tracking based off of the last most recent support and resistance, which is identified here in the red. If we break this low, then I'm looking for deeper retracements to the downside, potentially to grab some liquidity and see if we want to roll over and resume back that daily trend back to the top side. If not, we could just tap into this area right here. Come on, delete. If not, we could just respect this low right over here and then start the week back off bullish. And then it will be what it is from there. See how we get into that imbalance area right over at 145, 170. And then see if price action get to fumble with them keys to see if we come back to the downside. So right now, a lot of speculation, a lot of guessing. On my end, not really knowing for sure which structure that I want to identify as the strongest levels that we want to identify to see where price action is going, where it's coming from, what it's trying to do, who we're trying to hook up with, who we're trying to get paid by. So, like on UJ, I want to see how we start the week off. Do we break structure here, this little 15-minute support, or do we just start pushing back to the top side, creating higher highs and higher lows? So as we click over to GJ, pretty much the same analysis over here. I don't have that same thought process as far as is GJ going bullishly or bearishly. We have pushed into that imbalance area, kind of like I had identified on UJ, had one identified here on GJ as well, but we already tapped into that one. So GJ, I know it follows UJ like mug, and UJ is like the parent. when it comes to GJ. So I would like to see UJ move bearishly first, but since GJ has pushed into that imbalance, I'm really wanting to follow GJ first and see what kind of gas it gives out, because it did tap into that imbalance area last week. So then if I do see structural breaks right over here with a 15-minute, I am expecting deeper retracement within that hourly time frame or that hourly range. And then if we break there, definitely could see big bearish activity all the way back down into the 4-hour support slash demand type area that gave you this gas right up in here. So a lot to look out for this week. We are in the start of quarter number 3, new month of July, opening up this week. So we can see a lot of things happening. Don't like the ranges here either. Recent support created on the 15-minute. If price action breaks there, could see retracement action back into a 1-hour support. So we gonna have to sit back and we gonna see. Potentially this could be the week to see if price action um is gonna, create some break out of some of these ranges that's been stuck in for a while. As we let's go to the hourly, and then I want to look at the 25th. So let's see how much price action moved. So, we came out bearish to start the week, gave you that weekly high low, and we did actually break this high. We wicked through that high on the hourly time frame, but on the 4-hourly time frame, you see something totally different. Um, right over here, it does look like we broke that high with the wick, which could be a liquidity grab. The wick bigger than the body of the candle could be an exhaustion candle here. So we want to see if that next candle breaks these lows right over here, then definitely we could have some deeper retracements coming back down here. If I see price action come from this level, however it gets there, whether it's corrective price action, meaning higher or lower lows and lower highs, or if it just impulses past this low, I then definitely will be waiting for a potential retracement to see where price action get the funnel with them keys at, and then definitely taking shorts. That's the only thing that I see for certain, for real on GJ. Outside of that, we could continue to go bullish. We got breakout buys above 183. I like to say 885, 890 area. Otherwise, I would like to see these retracement shorts for the week on GJ coming up on this week. Last but not least, we got gold. Man, oh man, took a trade on gold, winning the profits, then got smacked. Um, yeah, this week, see what we got. We are identifying bullishly on the daily. Um, higher low, high right over here. So from the low to the high right up here is that daily range we're paying attention to, or I'm paying attention to right now. The thing to note on gold, as on the higher time frames, as we're making our big pushes back to the top side, this wick did not grab liquidity, did not break these highs. So for me, that kind of gives insight as far as if price action wanted to break that wick, it would have broke. It didn't break, so I'm really expecting deeper retracements back to the downside, back into this daily support slash demand area. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm kind of sleepy, but back into this demand area, I do see an imbalance that could get filled. Potentially to see price action roll back over to the top side, something like right up in here. Not that one. This one. So open that thing back up. We could see the week start off somewhat bearish, come down into here. Now, like I said, we are identifying the daily to be bullish. So that would be the only reason I want to see price action come back into this imbalance, get the funnel with them keys, and then try to roll over bullish. Outside of that, because we are bearish on the 4-hourly time frame, price action could push right through that level and then continue to go bearish. And then ultimately we'll be shifting to higher time frames in a bearish manner. Trend would start be going bearish. The structure would be bearish as well. So then potentially just looking for shorts on gold, but that'll be more of like a swing slash long-term perspective or up close and personal perspective. What I am looking for is I got my 4-hourly ranges identified differently. Last week we had this as the 4-hourly high to the 4-hourly low, with this being the pullback now giving us a new 4-hourly low. Kind of identified just a little bit different because of the way structure looks on a higher time frame. So right now, still classifying that area still as that 4-hourly high, creating that 4-hourly range to the 4-hourly low right down here. And what we kind of see is price action creating them lower lows and lower highs on the hourly. and we had a shift in you say a little shift in structure on the hourly time frame. Because as we were making lower lows and lower highs right over here, we came down, pushed back up, pulled back, didn't break the low, and then pushed back bullish. So current price action with a high, low, high, high. We have tapped into that imbalance looking left. So we could open up the week and just leak to the downside. One thing I am looking for on gold, if we do open up bearishly, correctively, or impulsively, looking to see how we react once we get back into this area right up at 1906 750 area. If we break right through that area, I would then be looking for a retracement to potentially take continuation shorts to the downside. If we come down here and hold up this area, get the fumbling with them keys anywhere in that 1906 area, potentially could look for some scalp buys back deeper into that 1 hour resistance. And then if we get on top of there, then you already know retracement back to the downside, fumble with them keys, get back up in there to potentially retest back into this 4 hour resistance right up here. So yeah, a lot of stuff in the middle of the range, a lot of price action in the middle of the ranges. So it's definitely best to wait for this week to open up. Let Sunday play out, let Monday play out, let price action give you the gas, show you where it wants to go, and then try to get active. We do have some red folder news to pop out this week. CHF Monday got CPI, USD, PMI at 10 o'clock on Monday. Then on Tuesday for me, I'll probably miss RBA. Usually this comes out at 8 o'clock in the evening, but right here we got 12:30 in the morning on Tuesday. So late Monday, early Tuesday morning, I'll probably be off the charts at that point. Wednesday, we got OPEC meeting for all, FOMC for the USD. Thursday, ADP, non-farm employment change. On Thursday, unemployment claims as well for the USD, PMI for the USD. GBP got some red folder news. Governor Bailey speaking. CAG got some red folder news on Friday, and then should be NFP on Friday as well. So yeah, we could have some news events to pop off in the market and shake things up for us and potentially break us out of some of these little choppy ass ranges price action has been in, but it ain't happened yet. So I'm just sitting back and waiting for it. Overall, where my notes that I had on go right over here. Structures are marked a bit different than last week based off lower time frames. Price action has pushed into a 1 hour imbalance, what we're identifying right over here. If we get an impulse move to the downside, break structure, price action could continue bearish trend. Want to see how price action starts the week. And that's pretty much it. Currently just getting my outline and stuff together for the videos that I talked about on the last video that I wanted to come out and start dropping. How to identify structure, some of the psychologies that we come up with as far as price action breaking hourly structure, and then ultimately only looking for buys at that point. Just different things that I have learned along the way that could potentially help someone else as far as how to get active within these markets. Outside of that, I think that is going to be it for this weekend analysis. I am ready to go to sleep. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm about to slide on y'all boys. If you got any questions, definitely hit them comments. If you got other pairs, indices, commodities, any of that stuff that you would like to have analyzed that you don't see on my list over there on the right-hand side of the screen, drop it in them comments. I don't mind marking up charts, Euro USD. I know a lot of people like to trade the JPY, Euro JPY, NZD JPY, AUD, JPY. Yeah, GBP NZD is one I was curious in when I first came into the market, but GBP NZD give you that gas, and if you're on the wrong side, ooh wee. But outside of that, yeah, definitely hit that like button for you, Brett. I greatly appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. I'm out of that thing. Yeah.